think it's anything crazy.
Well, I'll just go on record and say that even if he hadn't tested and he made the fight, I think he's getting knocked out. So
I do too.
I think Dos Santos beating him.
Just like Frank Mir.
Yeah, just like Frank Mir.
Yeah.
Knocked the fuck out.
Well, the champion doesn't agree with that, but we'll see it from the champion next time, because I don't agree with it.
To be a champion, you have to defend that belt.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know how you're picking Frank Mir, honestly. You're going to have to explain that to me when we get to it.
Do we want to start there, or do we want to start at the bottom?
I'd say we start at the bottom.
I agree too.
Mike, we're going to do the whole card.
I'd like to do the whole
record.
card.
Yes, all on record.
Well,
Mike Brown.
Be nice.
Mike Brown and Daniel Pineda.
I got Mike Brown.
Picking Daniel Pineda.
I am taking Pineda too.
He's got a 7-fight win streak. So
me and Mike Brown have never been too impressed. He beat Uriah Faber, but he could be. So did Dennis Hallman beat Matt Hughes and kept beating him too. So
Mike Brown's been.
How good is Dennis Hallman?
He's good against Matt Hughes, and he's good at wearing Speedos.
Pink Speedos.
Yeah.
I don't like that's. I'm not a fan of Hallman. It is.
Mike Brown has been hot and cold ever since he lost to Jose Aldo. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown as a fighter, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in him.
He's probably getting submitted.
He's getting back on track. UFC 146.
It'd be good for him if he did, but I don't see it.
Kyle Kingsbury.
I have Kyle Kingsbury.
Picking
Glover. Texeria, is that how it is? Texera?
Don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm picking
Kyle maybe?
I'm picking Kyle Kingsbury as well.
So am I. He looked good in his last fight.
I'm going to go with Glover.
All right.
Who's the favorite?
Already.
Couldn't tell you. I don't think they have odds on fights like that because nobody bets on them. Or at least I can't find
Makes sense. I think Dan Hardy gets back on track, finally.
Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree. I'm picking Duane Bang Ludwig.
Fastest knockout in UFC history.
Yeah.
6 seconds. Dana White says it is UFC official. However, the commission won't change it.
That's true.
Who did he knock out again?
I don't remember.
I forget who was that fast.
I think he's winning by knockout or TKO, unfortunately, for Dan Hardy, because I like Dan Hardy a lot, and I don't want to see him get cut. And if he loses again,
There's no way they can keep him. I think he's already lost 4 in a row.
Right, I think it'll be 5 in a row if he loses.
That's why I think he wins. He's going to scrap it out no matter what.
Duane Bang Ludwig is no chump, though.
Is he a wrestler at all?
But neither is GSP, and he went 5 rounds with GSP.
So. I think they're both strikers, mainly.
Yeah, I think Dan Hardy is going to win that.
I got Hardy.
Hardy's a great striker, but he just doesn't have the knockout power Ludwig has.
Ludwig's lost a lot of fights, man.
And
so I thought.
Hardy's shown that he can be knocked out. So.
Paul Sass.
Don't know much about Paul Sass.
Jacob Volkmann is the guy with the arrow on his chest, correct?
Hey, I have to say this.
I don't think that is Jacob Volkmann.
That's not Jacob.
I don't think so.
Jacob Volkmann is the guy that threatens Obama all the time.
Yeah.
That's who Jacob Volkmann is.
I was gonna say if he was the guy with the arrow in his chest, I'd have to support him because I have to say
that guy with the arrow in his chest is pretty.
I once had an arrow on my chest. I did that once.
Did you? You have enough hair to put an arrow?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Holy shit! You're a gorilla.
Oh, dude, I'm a gorilla.
Now that's on the internet. What'd you do that for?
I didn't show
you got to put that on the internet.
I mean, I will though.
He's got more than that on his back.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. So I'm a UFC fighter upstairs. We were trying to get
his knuckles.
Show
you something right there.
I got hairy hands.
Yeah, that's on the internet now. You're going to be known as the human gorilla now on the internet.
I know. I didn't show it. I didn't show my chest on there. I don't want to scare people or get tagged on the way home by Animal Control.
No, Volkmann is the one that had the Secret Service at his house for Obamacare. He was trashing Obamacare.
I'm going to pick him because I want to see him do another victory speech, trash Obama, and see what happens.
He's probably not going to do that anymore.
I hope he does.
The Secret Service.
It's interesting when stuff like that happens.
Probably get stun gunned right there. They'll probably have Secret Service by the cage just in case.
It makes it more interesting when he says stupid shit like that. You know?
They label him as a terrorist.
I love when people.
I hope not. You don't want to see him go away, but it still is kind of funny that the Secret Service showed up at his house.
I love people who talk trash like Chael Sonnen.
Talking trash on the president.
Can he back it up though? I think he's gonna not be able to take out Paul Sass. I'm gonna go with Paul Sass.
I'm gonna pick Volkmann.
I don't know Sass from Volkmann. We got a lot of different picks here, Bill.
Yeah,
so we'll have a clear-cut winner for the next week for sure. There's not going to be these. We all have one fighter.
Go ahead and take the belt home.
Yeah,
a lot different than last time. That's for sure.
CB Dalloway and Jason Miller.
Mayhem. He's gonna get back in shape in the UFC.
I hope so. He looked like fucking dirt.
He's been working on it.
Yes,
He's been working on his.
Except for the first round.
I had good expectations from him too.
He looked good in the first round.
Yeah,
he got him on the ground.
He looked good.
I don't
for
think
4
he looked
minutes.
good ever.
I mean, he had him on the ground the whole first round.
He did better than Chael Sonnen holding him on the ground.
I could tell he worked on his 1-2.
Yes.
He's been training his striking.
About that. That's about it.
He's been training his striking. I think he said he was training with.
Didn't he have a fight
Freddie
outside
Roach?
the UFC?
Have I got it right this time,
I think
guys?
he's
Freddie
just
Roach.
used to beating
Yes.
down
Is it right
bullies.
this time? It's not Eddie Roach, right?
Eddie Roach, yes.
I like Miller, but
Did Miller have a fight outside
God,
the
he looked
UFC?
like shit.
Yeah, but CB Dalloway is
know?
kind of a.
Yeah, he fought.
I don't want to say he's a one-trick pony, but he's just
Mayhem-
got the wrestling.
He fought Jake
Rob,
Shields. He fought
Did
Jake
Mayhem
Shields.
fight outside of the UFC since he
He
lost?
fought Jake
Oh,
Shields,
not since he
and
lost.
he lost by decision.
But didn't he fight outside of UFC once?
Not
Who?
since he's just
Jason
been
Miller?
Jason Miller.
Yeah, he fought in Strikeforce.
but not after Bisping.
No, they haven't. He
I
hasn't
thought
had a
he
fight
had. I
since.
thought
then.
he had. Okay.
No, that's only been. What was it, earlier this year?
Yeah, but I thought he did.
Or maybe it
I'm
was in the
surprised
last
they gave
year.
him another fight.
Well,
I would
Dana
have
White
cut him.
Dana White said some nasty shit about
Yeah,
him.
I would have
honestly.
cut him.
He said
About
like
who?
about Mayhem, saying that the striking was like the worst he had ever seen or something.
It was.
There must have been another reason. It's probably TV ratings.
Here's the problem with this
I mean,
fight, though.
Because
I mean-
if I was Dana White, and I think we think on the same level a lot of the times, I would have cut him. So he has to bring in a lot of money because of the fact that he was on that bully beatdown.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
He was really popular on the Ultimate Fighter, and that was a really good Ultimate Fighter season. Him versus Bisping, they were good plays off each other. They just weren't a good
Fuck,
fight.
He's a
like
good
shit,
speaker.
though.
He's a good speaker.
They weren't a good fight. The problem with him against CB Dalloway, though, is CB Dalloway is probably a better striker, and I hate to say that about CB Dalloway because I am not a fan of CB
I'm not
Dalloway.
either, but I bet against him all the time, and he fucking wins.
Does he? But he's a wrestler, so you think, okay, Mayhem's a jiu-jitsu guy, CB's a wrestler. If he takes him down, that means that Mayhem has to win off his back. Is he that good at jiu-jitsu that he wins off his back? I don't know. You know, I mean, is CB good enough at control to, just avoid submissions and control him? Or is it going to stand up and he beats him in stand-up? I don't know. I'm picking Mayhem because I'm a fan of Mayhem. I'm not,
It's a real question.
not 100% sure that Mayhem's going to win. I actually kind of think that CB might win. I hope not, but I'm going to pick Mayhem because I'm a fan of Mayhem, and I'm not going to pick against him.
Is there possibly 3 fighters on this card that are fighting for their job? Dan Hardy, CB Dalloway, and Mayhem? Is this a possible, who's getting
CB
cut?
Dalloway probably won't get cut.
You don't think?
No,
I mean,
not
what has
even.
he done?
They like him.
Yeah, they like him.
They
What
obviously like
has
him.
he done, though?
I'm not sure.
He's not gonna. He's not.
Is it one of those,
Maybe they think he's going to be good, and they want to build him. Possibly, I don't know. They think they like him. He seems to do better than I give him credit for. I think he's going to get choked out, though. I think Miller somehow will come back. I
hope Miller
Looks good.
chokes him out.
Because
That'd
he
be
is
awesome.
good. He just looked like dirt last time.
Yeah.
I just hope
He's better than
I
that.
hope he really did improve his stand up good enough to where he can stand with him. And CB
What do you
Dalloway's
think,
not
what do you
that
think happened
good.
to Miller in
standing
that
up.
fight with Bisping? What do you think caused him to look so terrible?
He gassed
not
at the
that
end of the
terrible.
He
first
gassed.
round.
Yeah, he
He
gassed
gassed
early.
at
He
4
was
minutes of the
flat.
first round.
How could he gas with him? All he
In
did was hold him
box.
on the ground for the first round.
I think, honestly, the people
Did
are
you
just
see
a
he was
step
holding
up
his
than they
hands
used to
down
be.
in his waist
There
in the
was, like-
second round, the beginning of the second
Yeah,
round?
but in
He's
the first
throwing
round,
punches from his waist. You
I
know.
mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that first round, over half that round spend with him holding Bisping
he had
on the
him-
ground?
He had him locked up in a weird
In
mount.
a weird, like he was on his leg, had his legs locked up,
Right.
up against the cage, but he couldn't punch him.
It was
he
like
couldn't,
a
hit him.
sitting mount.
Yeah, it was he was sit up on him with his legs pinned underneath him.
I don't know what
and,
you'd call that, but
Thinking about that fight makes me want to pick Dalloway. He looks
I
so
know,
bad.
me too.
I'm not picking against
I
Miller.
feel the same way, but I don't want to go against him. And we're all picking Mayhem, right?
I'm picking Mayhem for sure. I'm not going against him. I'm a fan of Mayhem's. Even
in the spirit of Mayhem, why don't we all just stick with him since we all like him?
I'm going to have to switch it over to
I
Dalloway,
knew
man.
Bill was
Mayhem
going to
looked
do
like
that.
shit.
I knew he was going to do that, so I was hoping we could get him to stay.
I just hope
You can do it.
Mayhem. I
Because
hope
now I want to switch.
I hope Mayhem
Yeah.
improved his striking enough.
And you broke your pencil lead.
Yeah,
You're not
it's 'cause
happy
I'm
about
fucking
it.
pissed.
Because you're not happy about it because you're
No.
rooting for CB Dalloway.
No, I'm rooting for Miller. I just
Yeah.
don't think he's going to win.
I'm not picking
he,
against
He
Miller.
looked so bad, man.
I like Bully.
I honestly think he
I hate
was
to say it.
bad.
I like Bully Beatdown. I do.
Yeah, I like the
enjoy
show,
it.
but the people are on a different level now. And
I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's kind of enjoyable. I don't watch too much on
CB
MTV.
Dalloway's been in there doing it and been fighting on that level.
Diet
Gotta
Mountain
give it
Dew.
to him. Diet?
Diet
Not
Mountain Dew.
good for you, man. They got, what's in that for the sweetener?
It's aspartame.
Yeah, that's horrible, man.
They don't make very many diet sodas with Splenda.
Yeah, aspartame is very bad for you.
How about you just do
It's a
this?
poison.
You should cut out soda in general, buddy.
I don't drink much soda, honestly.
That's good.
Drink
Soda.
coffee. That's how I get my caffeine.
How about you drink water?
Edson Barboza.
Good for you. Barboza.
Jamie Varner.
I saw Jamie Varner on Inside MMA this week. He looked awesome. He's been doing good outside the UFC. This is his first fight back to the UFC.
Which he was fighting in...
all over the place.
Oh, was he?
MFC, I think. Isn't that...
Wasn't Varner...
Varner Varner is now Ben Henderson's training partner.
Wasn't he WEC, though?
He was big in WEC, yes he was.
He's been cut. He's been cut maybe twice from the UFC. This is fight back
with Edmund Barboza because he's looked good.
And I really want to go with Jamie Varner, but I just can't. I can't.
I won't go with Jamie Varner.
He looked really good.
I was a fan of him
MMA.
at WEC.
I like that he's training with Ben Henderson.
Apart.
I mean, he's got to be better for training with Ben Henderson, right? I mean, Ben Henderson's awesome. I mean, he's got to be better, but I just can't pick against Edson Barboza. I got to pick Edson Barboza.
I'm going with Barboza too.
Me too.
But I hope Varner does good. I don't want to see him get cut again, because if he loses again, he'll probably get cut again. So
let's hope.
Diego.
You hope he gets cut, huh? He looks good.
Diego, what is it, Brandao?
Yep.
Darren Elkins?
Diego Brandao was a monster on Ultimate Fighter.
When you pointed out, I remembered him. And I think he's going to win, too, and going to run his mouth some more.
Yeah, he's going to win by first-round knockout is what I'm saying.
I'm going to clean this dude's clock.
I'm going to have to agree with you guys.
He's a monster.
This next fight, I'm conflicted on.
Now we're into the main card.
Yes.
Mark Hunt and Stefan Struve.
Very conflicted here.
Yeah. Dan Littlefield, a big Stefan Struve fan.
I'm not. You know what? I'm confused.
You're a Stefan Struve fan, really?
Listen,
what? I'm not going to vote for anybody that got beat by Stefan Struve.
And that was from an earlier fight. And I was like, you know what? Dave Herman lost to Stefan Struve, and I was like, if you lose to Stefan Struve, you're gay. That's what I thought. But then I started looking at Stefan Struve's record, and you look at who he's lost to. He's lost to Travis Brown, Roy Nelson, and Junior Dos Santos in the UFC. He's 7-3. He's beat Dave Herman, Pat Barry, Corky, and Moorcraft. So you look at the guys he's lost to. He's lost to all big name guys, and that's it.
But who did he beat?
Pat Barry. I mean, Dave Herman, who's now fighting. Who's he fighting? Dave Herman's fighting Roy Nelson in this card as well. And Moorcraft is a good fighter. I'm familiar with Moorcraft.
I have problems with this matchup. I don't know why they put this matchup together. Why would they do this?
It's a weird matchup. Mark Hunt is short. And stocky.
Everybody's rooting for Mark Hunt at this point, right? I mean, he's the favorite. He's got a lot of people behind him. People want to see him win. So you throw a guy with a massive reach advantage who does flying triangles, and Hunt's weakness is submissions.
I think Stefan Struve wins by submission.
That's what I have.
Man,
I was looked very good against Congo. His striking is on point. Struve's 6'11", though.
Yeah. The problem is he
can't get knocked out. I mean, Roy Nelson knocked him the fuck out.
The problem is Hunt's going to have to get inside and hit some guy with a huge reach advantage that's probably going to be looking for a takedown or even a flying submission hold. And
Struve's getting better too, man.
That's what I'm saying. He seems like he's getting better. He seems like he's young.
It's a bad matchup.
Can you imagine fighting a guy who was 6'11"?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
leverage.
I'm 5'4", so no.
So you guys are picking Struve, huh?
I'm taking Struve, and he's an underdog, so it's an upset pick.
I'm picking Hunt.
I want to pick Hunt. I want Hunt to win, but I think Stefan Struve
picking Hunt by knockout.
It's very possible
in the
scenario as well.
In the first. I'm picking him in the first as well. Because if he wins, it'll be in the first. If he doesn't, then it'll be by submission somewhere else.
I could see this going to a second round and I think the first round is going to be Stefan Struve trying to stay away from the power of Mark Hunt and trying to feel him out, test him out, throw some strikes, and then I think in the second round he's going to get on the ground somewhere and submit him.
I'm going to be very disappointed if Stefan Struve does a flying triangle and wins by submission. I really am.
You can still say you called it.
I mean, if it's a flying...
I guess I could, but I don't want Hunt to get sidetracked at this point. You know?
Now,
awesome
at his
seeing him
age,
win.
he can't get sidetracked on his title shot run because he's already 36 or 38.
It's awesome to see him win, you know?
Mark Hunt, how old he is? He's 36 or 38. One of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
two.
you guys heard me. I was kind of calling for him to get the shot
The
at
title
the title.
shot, so was I.
You know, I mean...
So was I.
Dana White says not going to happen. Right?
I mean,
No.
damn it, Dana.
And they went to
damn
Frank
it.
Mir and said... Because wasn't Frank Mir supposed to fight
Frank
Mark
Mir...
Hunt on this card?
They didn't
No.
want... They didn't
No.
want...
Velasquez.
This is
That's
why
right.
they didn't
I'm
do
sorry.
it. They didn't want Mark Hunt to be the champion. Now they know that Dos Santos is just going to knock Frank Mir out, so it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I think they know that.
You guys are both wrong.
Shane Del Rosario and Stipe. What is it, Miocic? Probably saying that wrong.
I'm going
Marcus.
Shane Del Rosario.
Man.
He is actually an underdog as well, I believe.
Del Rosario?
Yep.
I think he's going to win.
They're both undefeated.
Yeah,
Yes, they're both undefeated.
Somebody's going home a loser.
Yeah, they're both undefeated.
They're both huge, man. 6'4", 240, 250. They both got huge reaches. 80 inches. 179, 180.
Dang, I don't know. That's a tough one. Shane Del...
Too.
Man, that's a tough one. Who'd you pick?
Shane Del Rosario.
Who are you picking?
I'm going to go the same.
I'm just going to pick the opposite guy because you guys are picking that guy and they're both
I'm gonna go with the
undefeated.
favorite.
I'm going to pick Stipe Miocic
There
Alrighty.
you go.
just for the hell of it.
But I think he's getting choked out. For the record.
He might. I mean, they're both undefeated. It's a hard pick, honestly. I mean, how do you pick when they're both undefeated? You know.
I'm going with the other guy is a wrestler and a boxer. He only had one decision, all quick fights, and the one decision was the only guy I knew, which was Joey Beltran. I figured if he gets up into that level, it's going to be a tougher fight for him. If it goes longer, it might be bad news. The other guy's Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, Del Rosario.
Yeah, we'll see. One of them,
Choke him out.
like I said, like Boss Rutan said, somebody's O has to go. That's how
Someone's O must go.
that's what he always says when there's two undefeated guys going against each other.
Dave Herman and Roy Nelson. Big country.
How many losses has Roy Nelson got in a row right now?
I got him as 16-7.
Has he lost two in a row?
He has lost to Radum. He beat Krokop, lost to Mir, beat Schaub, beat Struve, lost to Orlowski, and
What was his last two fights again?
Verdum and
What was that
Krokop?
last fight?
No.
So he
Verdum. He lost to Verdum.
He
It
lost
was
to
a fight of
Verdum.
the night decision.
and what happened with Krokop? He beat Krokop.
He beat Krokop by
So
TKO.
he's going like win loss win loss.
Yes.
So he lost his last fight. I'm gonna pick Roy Nelson then.
I'm going with
He says win loss win loss.
I'm going with Roy Nelson. Dave Herman. And this is where
Dave Herman's 21-3. It's a
He's-
pretty strong record.
It is.
Well, he's not
and-
gonna knock out Roy
and-
Nelson.
He's a big puncher, though.
And Dave Herman.
Is he bringing a baseball
has-
bat? Because
He
that's the
might
only.
need it, right?
He's not gonna knock him
I
out.
really don't think that guy's getting knocked out, but
Dave Herman has beat Don Fry. It's my second Don Fry reference in the second show. And he has beat Don Fry.
Well, Don Fry, you guys said last time, it was like he's got 100 and some fights.
100 wins.
100 wins, so he's got to have quite a few losses. So there's
Right.
probably quite a few people that beat Don Fry.
Dave Herman is a pot smoker.
Okay.
He
Wow.
had pot for marijuana
I like him.
at one point. Yeah, that's
So
what
he
I
may
like
not
him.
even fight.
But he's lost to Stefan Struve. But I'm conflicted on Stefan Struve, so I don't really know. But Roy Nelson can't be knocked out, so Dave Herman ain't going to knock him out. And Roy Nelson's just got power, and he sticks around. I mean, his last couple fights.
Roy Nelson's beard
I
absorbs all the
think
impacts.
Roy Nelson gets him in a crucifix.
Really?
Beats
And
his
just
face
pounds
in.
He
his
likes
head in.
that. He really enjoys that.
Hits him with little baby
I'd like to
punches
see
and gets him
that.
to call.
I'd like to see
I'm going to
that.
go with Roy Nelson.
Hits him with baby punches, or he's hitting him with good punches?
They'll be pussy punches. They'll just get him
40
to call it.
baby punches,
Yeah,
make him
they'll
stop
start
it.
counting.
Yeah.
Unless he says he's going to win a different way, whatever he says, I'm going to go with that. He seems to be pretty good at his own predictions. So, Roy Nelson.
I don't think his beard will allow him to get knocked out. So
No, he's not going to get knocked out. Roy Nelson's going to win this
his
fight.
beard's made of steel. He keeps like some sort of metal underneath the hair.
It's going to be some kind of TKO or KO, one of the two. It's going to be blood.
Antonio Silva, Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's going to
Where's
get
Cain
stuffed out by
Velasquez?
Cain Velasquez.
Bigfoot's been
My
knocked
first
out
thought was Bigfoot,
twice,
man.
I think.
Honestly.
He's been knocked out by Cormier and Arlovsky. Is that right?
No, he beat Arlovsky in a decision. He's lost to Verdum by decision. He beat
Fedor.
Mike Kyle. He beat Fedor by TKO, and he's lost by KO to Daniel Cormier.
I thought he lost by KO twice.
He.
I guess not then. Okay.
Not that I saw.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy.
Cain trains with Cormier.
Right. And he's probably a better version of Cormier
That's
than
what
MMA-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not wrestling-wise.
I think Cain
but
Velasquez is going to be.
He's going to be the better striker, and
Yeah.
I think that's what gives Velasquez this win.
Plus, Cain Velasquez. I mean, the fight that he's coming.
I really
off
wanted to see Cain versus Mir. I think that was a tougher fight for Cain, honestly.
I agree.
I think Cain wins.
Instead, Frank Mir gets to become champion.
I think Cain wins by TKO.
I think they should have kept Cain Mir and gave Bigfoot the championship.
Oh,
I don't know how they could justify that. I'd
I
have an
couldn't
easier time justifying Mark Hunt.
I would too. I would too, just because Antonio's got to do something.
I
here
think
first.
a lot of people are discounting Velasquez just because he got knocked out.
I'm not discounting him. I was gonna say. I was actually about to bring that
Goddamn, the
up.
run he was on and how
I
good
was
he
gonna
looked
bring that
before
up. You know, you look at his run. He was on a streak, beating everybody up, and then he gets caught with one punch and gets to the ground. I mean, that's literally that fight was a few punches. And
Yeah, what, 1 minute? So
he's ready to roll. He's still ready to go. You know, he's just been constant training. You know, there was probably if he got a concussion, there may have been a 30-day medical suspension, but he's still been just training.
he's tough.
I mean,
think
he didn't have
Velasquez
any.
takes it.
You know what I'm saying? He don't have a big layoff. He didn't have a big. I can't train because I'm healing. And
I think Velasquez by TKO. Probably second round.
TKO.
I'm going KO. KO. Knockout of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
Knockout of the night.
You're gonna say knockout of the night with
Knockout of
Brandao
the
on the card?
Night.
Really?
I'll say if Roy Nelson gets knocked out, that'll be knockout of the night, regardless.
Oh, yeah.
If he gets knocked out in the night,
Doesn't matter how
that's
it happens.
for sure. It's
So for the main event, Junior Dos Santos versus
Yeah.
Frank Mir.
Yeah, I don't really.
I think Littlefield. I think you called
Frank
Mir
Mir.
getting the shot, right?
Frank Mir. I did. I said Frank Mir was going to get this title shot. I
the
felt
champ
like
it would be
that
really.
too.
It would be kind of cool for Frank Mir to win because he'd be like I think the first person to win the UFC heavyweight title 3 times. I think that's what they said.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
his. This would be. He's had 4 title fights. You look at his last fights. He's
He looks good.
He's won 4 of his last fights. He's lost to Shane Carwin by TKO. He submitted Congo. He submitted a knocked out Krokop. He decisioned Roy Nelson, and he submitted Minotauro Nogueira, obviously, and by breaking his arm in 2 pieces because he didn't want to knock out. Not to mention, Frank Mir has 2, not just 1, but 2 submissions of the year in 2008 and in 2011.
By who?
Well, he tapped
By who? I mean, who gave him the submission of the year?
UFC.
Oh, the UFC.
It's submission of the year. He for the leg lock on Lesnar in 2008, and then the broken arm on Minotauro Nogueira in 2011.
I kind of have a hard time believing that the leg lock on Lesnar was probably the submission of the year.
I think it's
They
submission of
probably
the year
just gave it
because
to him
of the
because
size
it's Frank
of the magnitude of the fight.
I called that leg lock, by the way.
You
First
did call
round.
that leg lock.
I did. That was
did.
around Mardi Gras. I went on a Mardi Gras fight or right after.
It was right around there.
I am picking Dos Santos, and the reason is
JDS by knockout.
I'm picking Dos Santos by first or second round knockout, and the blueprint I think was set by Shane Carwin, who showed that Frank Mir cannot take huge power punches, and JDS beat the shit out of Shane Carwin.
Fucked him up.
Yeah, he outboxed him.
But Shane Carwin's has a back problem. That's his last fight. His last
Yeah,
2
and
fights were against.
and he
Did he
beat-
have a back problem when he knocked the shit out of Frank Mir?
That's what I'm
Dropped him on
saying.
a fucking, gave him the stanky leg like Rashad?
He killed him. I mean, he looked like he was
He said
dead.
the back problem for a while.
So he must have.
Shane
Mhm.
Shane Carwin made Frank Mir look like he killed Frank Mir.
I don't think Frank Mir has a fucking shot in hell to get JDS to the ground.
No.
And that's where he needs to get him.
JDS
I don't think it's gonna
is the 2012 version of Chuck Liddell when he was in his prime. He has awesome takedown defense and counterpunching
Huge power.
out of this world knockout
And
power.
he'll keep it standing. It's not like he's a slouch on the ground. He just doesn't go there. Who's been able to take him down?
I think Frank Mir's finally got his game all together.
I mean,
think Frank
Carwin's
Mir's
by far
awesome
a better
fighter.
wrestler than Mir. And Carwin was nowhere near taking down Dos Santos through 3 rounds. nowhere near on anything.
I mean, I don't think it's going to
nowhere.
end as fast as Cain Velasquez and JDS ended, because I think that was kind of lucked in.
Yeah,
in
he
6
got
seconds.
caught. I don't think Amir's going to be watching out not to get caught like that. But I just don't see how it goes to the ground. If it goes to the ground, it gets interesting.
I think even if it goes to the ground, I think JDS gets right back up.
It get interesting if it goes. I just really don't think it does. I don't think Mir has a chance in hell to get him down.
I don't think it's a matter of Mir's striking. To me, has looked impressive. I mean, the fight against Congo, when he just whooped the shit out of Congo and then submitted him. I mean, he just whooped the shit out of him standing up, took him to the ground, and put him in a submission.
Check Congo is not JDS.
No, he's not, but he's that same size fighter, same size, same good striking ability. But Frank Mir's quick.
We're talking about a guy that
Mir
trains with
bulked up,
Blackhouse, though.
But
I mean, that's a big difference. And he's training with the best strikers in the world.
Frank Mir is bulked up and worked on his striking, and then he slimmed
He's a
down
Chael
a little
Sonnen
bit.
fan, though, so he doesn't really care about Blackhouse all that much.
He's training with Machida. He's training with Anderson Silva. He's awesome boxer already. Maybe one of the best boxers in MMA, if not the best.
And he's still training on the ground with Big Nog.
It's not going to the ground. He's going to get a knockout first or second round, and Frank Mir will probably never get another title shot, unfortunately. But
he's going to be defending this title.
No. The blueprint's already been set. It's not going to be too much different than the Carwin.
And with Frank Mir's loss will come Daniel Littlefield's loss of the belt.
Blueprints build buildings. This is a fight.
I'm telling you, it's going to look a lot like the Carwin JD, or not the Carwin Mir fight. It's going to look a lot like that fight.
I don't think so.
Do you think that they give Velasquez the title shot after he beats Bigfoot and Dos Santos beats Mir?
Yeah, why not?
They give him the rematch?
Because Overeem's going to be out till freaking the end of the year at least.
Depends. If Mark Hunt beats Stefan
It was supposed
Struve,
to be the #1 contenders match, right?
What if Mark Hunt knocks out Stefan Struve?
Mir and Velasquez was.
Even if Mark Hunt wins, if Cain Velasquez wins, he gets the title shot for sure.
I don't think he's going to get a title shot. I think if Mark Hunt wins, Cain Velasquez, Mark Hunt for the title.
I don't know if that's... Well, who knows? I mean, Mark Hunt touches Cain on the chin. He's going out, too.
Mark Hunt's got power.
Yeah.
And then it'll be Mark Hunt and Frank Mir for the title.
Mark Hunt versus Frank Mir. What is that, Bizarro World? That's not going to ever happen. Come on.
I mean,
you're not. Are you throwing the title right now?
Shot for a reason.
I mean, you're the champ. Are you throwing the title right now? Because it sounds like you're throwing the title.
Did Frank Mir get this title shot by pulling his name?
Did you put some money on like
Frank Mir got this title shot because he's complete. He's well rounded. He's come together. He's a good fighter.
He got the title shot because they couldn't justify giving it to Cain Velasquez after a 60-second knockout.
They gave it to him because he's looked impressive. I mean, he snapped Nogueira's arm in two. Did you see? You saw?
I mean, I
showed you the X-ray, I know you've seen the broken bone. I mean,
it looked like mine from arm wrestling.
Yeah, he snapped that bone in half.
But he already beat him once. I mean, is it really that impressive? He's already broke other people's arms.
I mean, he's a bone breaker.
He's a big ass dude.
He's a bone
knows
breaker.
Jiu-jitsu. He's not.
But the thing is, though, he's not just a big ass dude.
He's not going to do a flying armbar.
He's not just a big ass dude, though. Now his striking is
now, if he does a flying armbar against JDS,
I mean, are you telling me Chet Congo has no striking ability?
No, he does. He just doesn't have the chin to back it up.
But what did Frank Mir do to him in a striking advantage? Beat the shit out of him. And then took him down. And
Frank Mir's a good striker, but he's not JDS.
I'm not saying
he's a very technical striker.
He doesn't have to be JDS to win.
Look at the fight against Crow Cop.
He doesn't have to be JDS to win.
Look at the fight against Crow Cop. Crow Cop's a technical striker, and look at him and.
But who hasn't beat Crow Cop in the last 5 years? Who has Crow Cop beaten in the last 5 years?
Mir won that fight. I'm not saying
that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying he looked good, but he just doesn't have the power to back it up. I mean, and JDS does.
Who doesn't have the power? Frank Mir doesn't have power?
No, not enough to beat
Frank
JDS.
Mir is 245 pounds, and look at the size of him. You're telling me he doesn't have power?
He doesn't have the striking power to beat JDS.
I don't know about that.
I don't even think Frank Mir could beat Cain Velasquez.
I don't
thought that would have been a good fight.
Yeah,
you thought Frank Mir was going to beat Cain Velasquez too?
I did.
I think Frank Mir's come a long way. Velasquez should have won.
And I'm one who I've not.
You realize Brock Lesnar beat Frank Mir, right?
I do.
Like really bad.
I do. Okay. But it was because those two got.
The way you're
those
putting it,
two-
Brock Lesnar should still be the champion.
But those two got into a war. Those two got into like a one-sided war. Like there was a stretch where all those two did was get in fights where they got on the ground and see who could
He
pound
put
each
him in a
other
headlock
out.
and just pounded his face in the hamburger.
I mean, it wasn't really a headlock. It was more like I pinned your arm behind your head and punched your head face in. Because that's what he did. He reached around with his left hand and grabbed Frank Mir's left arm and held it down and then pinned his right arm down and then punched him in the face because he laid on his arm. And it's a totally different type of fight.
What was Brock Lesnar's record in UFC? Wasn't very good.
5-1, maybe.
No, he lost.
No, he lost twice.
He lost to
at the end.
Mir. He lost to
Mir,
Overeem
and
Velasquez. So he
Velasquez.
lost three.
He beat Heath Herring.
He beat Herring. Yeah, Herring, Mir,
Carwin.
Carwin. So was he 3-3? Oh, he beat Randy Couture.
And he beat Randy Couture.
So 4-3.
4-3.
That's not very good. And he,
4-3. 4-3 against those.
He devastated Mir.
But look at the guys he fought though. I mean, he never came in and had any. If you look at Brock Lesnar, he goes Heath Herring, boom, straight into Randy Couture, and then Frank Mir, and then Frank Mir. I mean, then Velasquez, and he lost his last two fights, so he went 4-1, and then
when
lost
they were saying Brock was
fights.
going to fight JDS, I was going to pick JDS against Brock too. So JDS is the man right now.
Classic wrestler versus boxer.
He's just got two.
They're different. They're different. You're talking about different style fights.
If Shane Carwin couldn't take him down,
Frank Mir, when he got into this whole Brock Lesnar focus, he bulked up to 265 pounds.
You think?
And now he's down to 245.
Beat him on the feet.
He can. He could fight him.
By what method?
What do you mean? What method? By striking.
TKO, KO, or decision?
I think he's gonna catch him, knock him to the ground, get on top of him, and submit him.
Really?
It's going to be a submission fight, but he's not going to. I'm not going to say he's going to knock him out, but he's going to clip him. They're going to do good. He's going to catch him, get him to the ground, or catch him in some kind of a counter a strike, and take him to the ground. Frank Mir can get guys to the ground. Frank Mir is good at getting anyone to the ground. The
only way he's getting this guy to the ground is if he pulls guard.
and
JDS is going
how many times have people shot on JD? It's really, gone after a
Shane
takedown.
Carwin.
Shitload.
Shane Carwin couldn't get him down. He's wasn't he All-American?
Nelson tried to get him down a couple times.
But it's not Nelson. This is different. He's different. Frank
Shane
Mir's
Carwin
different.
was a great wrestler.
Yeah, but Frank Mir's
Nelson beat Frank Mir in a grappling match.
Yeah, it was just a jiu-jitsu match, though.
Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Once we threw it in MMA, Frank Mir won, so that was a pretty good fight, though. I honestly,
Frank Mir.
I honestly feel like this is a mismatch. I can't believe you're picking Frank Mir, even though you told me you were going to pick Frank Mir. I can't believe you're picking him.
He's looked good. What do you mean? I don't see how you can see it's that far off. He's looked great. His
I just
striking
feel like it's a complete
improved.
mismatch.
He's superior in a submission game, and
Yeah, but it's not going to go there.
You don't know that.